Alright, so let's go back to our primary source worksheet. And we're going to see what happened, what changed from World War II to the post-war era. So, number one, what was women's participation in the workforce over the years like, from 1940 to 1947?
There was an overall increase.
There was an overall increase. How big was it, would you say? Slow.
Overall, it was a 3% increase from 1940 to 1947.
Alright, and it had its spike during the war. Alright, so we got that. What impact did World War II have on the distribution of income? This was, I think, was a pretty tough question, so I'm intrigued to hear your answers.
We noticed that, one thing that we noticed that took us a little while to get was that the wealthiest 5% was within the wealthiest 20% because there are 5 20%. And so, the top part of the country, went down a lot. And so, we said that the gap slightly closed because, the middle, the second force, and the force all increased by, 1% each. So it was, a very slight close, but not very much.
So are the rich getting richer, or are they kind of going down?
They're kind of going down.
So we're going to see that the middle class is going to have a slight change, but not too much with the distribution. Alrighty, so for labor force participation, what was going on during the war and towards the end? Aaron, what do we have over here?
I have during the war. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm filming. We have male and female both saw a peak at the wartime and a slight decrease at the end for the labor force participation.
Alrighty. What about personal savings? We have, remember, a lot of people lost almost all of their money because their money was not insured through the bank. Anyone remember what the group is that insures money in your bank now? It's an acronym. The FDIC. Good. We got a lot of acronyms in that Great Depression New Deal unit, so they get a little bit confusing. So what do personal savings do from the war until after the war?
They increased through the war, and then they decreased after the war.
All right, how much did they increase? Was it a pretty big jump?
Significant.
Significant jump? All right. So a pretty big jump. And lastly, what was going on with our federal spending during World War II?
It increased significantly during the war, and then it decreased after the war, but not to the pre-war status.
Not to pre-war status, so we were still spending a good amount of money during the war. So those were our primary sources that we were working with.
I just want to say something, Brandon. I noticed there, we connected two of them and noticed that in 43, almost half of the government budget was spent on armaments production.
Yeah, it was. So we have $37.5 billion spent on armaments production by the U.S. And if you look at 1943, and that's the connection Jeff made, that was half of our budget. So we know that during the war, nothing really brings us out of a depression more than a war.